Welcome back to Primetime Local News. Josh and Bucky in studio to talk local and professional sports and championship stuff for the Lloydminster Barons. They are the Tier 2 provincial champions.
You know, great to see. Both the Lloydminster programs, Holy Rosary and Lloyd Comp, have been knocking on the door for provincial championships last number of years. Lloyd Comp went to the provincial final last year. But this is the first provincial championship for Lloyd Comp in 24 years. So it's not just for the guys in the football field right now. It's for all those Lloyd Comp players over the years that didn't get to that provincial stage, didn't get that shot at provincial final, and they got it, and they won it in Fort Mac. And more than anything, it was a dominating performance on both sides of the ball. They gave up an early lead, but came back and roared with the big victory in the second half. And I thought more than anything, their running game looked solid, both lines looked solid, and when Holy Trinity tried to go to the air, their defensive backfield was phenomenal.
Yeah, and you said the running game was solid. Nathan Zachariah was not necessarily thought of as a star in the Wheatland Football League heading into the season. He was spectacular all year.
Yeah, he was. You know, he carried the mail for them, as I like to say. He was a guy that whenever they needed some first downs, needed some yardage, and needed to run down the clock more than anything, that's what he did in the second half in Fort McMurray. So a great little running back that, great to see. Aaron Harper did such a great job of building that team up, and talked to him on the Tuesday Night Sports Show a number of times about culture. And culture sometimes is an overused word in sports. Culture happens when you win, not when you lose. But the culture he has built up in that program is immense. And kids know that it's a 12-month-a-year kind of sport where you have to really put into the work during the off season to make sure you have success during the season. So hats off to Aaron Harper and his entire coaching staff. They did a tremendous job.
Yeah, and as we were talking about this season, they're generally dominant throughout the year. Only one or two real close contests, one of them obviously the Wheatland final. Yeah. They had a great game with Holy Rosary. The other was against Austin O'Brien, where that was the closest they came to losing all year, and it was really just a couple of inches decided their season. Yeah,
and I think that game against AOB, the other game in Red Deer before the season really got rolling, where they were dominating there, and then that win against AOB, more of a confidence booster for that team. You use that as a measuring stick to see what we need to work on going forward for the rest of the season. They'd use that for the preseason, and they showed that they can compete against the top teams in the province. So more than anything, their confidence was high throughout the whole season.
And now we're going to switch gears. A team that is still struggling, though some of their play has improved, is the Lloydminster Bobcats. They had a pair of tough games over the weekend, hosting the Brooks Bandits and then the Bonnyville Pontiacs, both multi-goal losses. This team, while skating better, they're still missing a couple of real key players in the lineup, and it takes time certainly for culture to change.
Yeah, it takes time for culture, and then on top of that, this is not a fix. So you get rid of Travis, bring Nigel in, doesn't mean all of a sudden everything is that much better. There's still a lot of flaws in the games, on the defensive side, on the forward side, even in goaltending to a certain extent, but the effort is there. And want to say maybe the effort is better with a different voice in Nigel, but they played against two pretty good teams. Brooks is a good team in the South. Bonnyville is one of the top teams in the entire league. Those are two pretty good teams. And you want to compete against them. You want to have a shot to win against them. They did for the most part, but when you have those little breakdowns, they can snowball on you in a hurry against a good team, and they did on Friday and Saturday against those two teams. And now it doesn't get any easier. Bobcats go to Bonnyville Wednesday night.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big test for sure, playing that team on the road. They've lost both meetings with them now, and they've been at home so far. We'll be back with more on Primetime Local News.